Hey guys, it's Jonathan from Wrestling Talking and Shop, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to go over a book I've had in my collection for a long time, the Von Erich Family Album. And I originally acquired this book. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My grandmother used to like to go to garage sales and whatnot, and she got this book for me here locally in our town. And I've had it pretty much all my life since I was four or 5 years old. I remember looking through it, and back then, and I've kept it through moving and growing up and moving out of my parents' house. I've always kept up with this book, even when I didn't have a lot of wrestling stuff. This is something I've always cherished because it's Von Erich's, and also my grandmother gave it to me. She's no longer with us. But we're gonna look through it. It's a long book. We're not gonna read it, but we'll there's some, the original owner had like some newspaper clippings and stuff that she put in here. We'll read those and just kind of talk about it. And it would be a 10-hour video for us to read this book. And, to be honest, we just don't have that kind of time. But we'll get started and we'll look through it. Oh, and first of all, I want to plug one time. Please, if you're interested, tune into our wrestling podcast Sunday, December 10th. We're going to talk about all the wrestling of the week and do a little history of wrestling, wrestling history and all whatnot. And me and Lindsay are going to be doing it. So it's going to drop December 10th, Sunday. All right, we'll move right along. And you can see in this on the cover of this, it says the Von Erich's a Family Album. And you got Fritz, Kerry, David, Mike, and Kevin. Chris is not in here either. I don't know. Surely, I don't know why. Chris is not in the upcoming movie. They don't talk about Chris either. And they don't talk about, he's not pictured here either. I know he wasn't the stature of Kerry or David or Kevin or even Mike, but he was still part of the family. We don't... in my family, just because you're the runt doesn't mean we don't talk about you. But anyway, we'll move right along. We got some great. Quit moving. You making the camera shake there, girl.
It's a wrestling ring.
Yeah. Anyway, you got some pictures here. This is said David. Yeah, that's David, Kerry, and Kevin there. I don't know where that's. Oh, there's a young Chris there. I guess that's Chris. I don't know if that's Chris or just a fan. Then you got Kerry and Kevin there, and Fritz there. That looks like when he won his retirement match when he beat King Kong Bundy for the Texas Heavyweight Champion. Then you got. Can you not see it? You keep moving it around.
I see it better. Like this.
Then you've got Kevin and Kerry here. Kevin in the ring. Look, they were the first to do this. And WWE and AEW, they do this on a regular basis now. Cameraman in the ring. Well, not so much cameraman in the ring, but they pioneered Dallas. They pioneered a lot of that stuff, the technology, the stuff that we have today. And you got Kevin and David down here. Looks like in Japan when they won a tag tournament. And then another picture, black and white, of Kevin and David. Oh, you want to turn the page there? Family. I assume that was the autograph section. We didn't, like I said, don't have any autographs. Then we've got some newspaper articles. Well, we'll get through here. This is Tragedies and Triumph of America's First Family of Wrestling. And we got who is designed by Taylor Publishing Company, Dallas, Texas. And can you see that? Can they see it? I kind of lay it down. Can we see it if we lay it down?
We can lay it down.
All right, we're going to read these articles. I am going to get Lindsay to read these articles. Just because I always found these newspaper articles. All right. Go ahead, read that.
This is Dallas, February 18th, 1993. A wrestler Von Erich sought on a drug charge. Dallas, an arrest warrant was issued for pro wrestler Kerry Atkinson after he was indicted on a cocaine possession charge. Dallas County Criminal District Judge Larry Baraka signed an arrest warrant yesterday for Atkinson, who wrestles under the name Kerry Von Erich. Atkinson is on 10 years probation for a drug conviction back in September. We're seeking to revoke his probation and send him to the penitentiary, said Norman Kine, a Dallas County Assistant District Attorney. Atkinson is scheduled to be on the headliner on a wrestling card tomorrow night in Dallas. Neither Atkinson, who lives in Lake Dallas, nor his attorney, Charles Caperton of Dallas, could be reached for comment. Arlington attorney and wrestling promoter Gary Pearson said he spoke with Atkinson yesterday morning. He said that Atkinson was unaware of the indictment and had simply described the incident as a misunderstanding. Pearson said that Atkinson told him that he was in someone else's car where the drugs were found, and he was not aware of there being any illegal substances in the car. That's what he told me, said Pearson, who's promoting tomorrow's wrestling card at the Sportatorium in Dallas. In September, Baraka placed Atkinson on probation after the wrestler pleaded guilty to 6 counts of obtaining controlled substances by fraud. Assistant DA Hugh Lucas said Atkinson's probation terms allowed him to clear his record if he stayed out of trouble for 10 years. That disappoints me, Baraka said when he told of the indictment. It hurts my heart. I thought he was going to do well. The judge has a number of sentencing options should he find that Atkinson violated his probation. They include continued probation, drug treatment, or prison time, said Gary Hunter, a probation officer on Baraka's court. Baraka would not speculate on what might happen to Atkinson, other than he's a famous guy, he'll get what's coming to him, whatever that will be. According to yesterday's indictment, which charges Atkinson with possession of controlled substance of less than 28 grams, the wrestler was arrested by Irving police in January. Police confiscated 1.3 grams of white powder, suspected to be cocaine. An officer at the scene said he saw Atkinson throw a small bag containing the white powder and a syringe under the seat of the car in which he was driving. Pearson said that Atkinson's legal problem was the latest in a long string of heartaches for the wrestling family. 4 of his brothers have died. I'm certainly sorry for Kerry and his family, and I know they've gone through so much tragedy, and the series of unfortunate events don't seem to stop. I feel especially sad for his parents. I don't know of any family that suffered as much as the Atkinsons.
And that was right around the time, not long after that, shortly he took his own life. And this has always puzzled me about this story. If I had a family member that I know that was going through trouble, wouldn't I try to intervene? And I don't know, maybe they did intervene. I don't know what went on behind their closed walls. But, you would think that somebody would, try to send him to some rehab or whatnot. Then you've got another autograph section or whatnot. Nice picture of the family's handprints there. Atkinson boys, mom and dad. And then it just goes on to talk about, what they are. And we'll go through every page, but we just, like I said, we don't have the time to read it. But it goes through what they are in wrestling. And everybody knows that the Von Erichs were wrestling royalty. And it goes on to tell Fritz's story about how he married Doris and whatnot. And
college athlete.
Yeah, he was a college athlete, and they got kicked out of SMU and ended up in Corpus Christi, and then made his journey into professional wrestling. You see that? I see that. Mm-hmm. All right. Then there's a... you can go ahead and show that picture. And then over here you've got a newlywed picture, October 54. A young Fritz Von Erich and Doris, Fritz Atkinson or whatever, Jack Atkinson and Doris Atkinson. Those are their real names, the government names. And then you've got more of the story here. We'll show it to you if you want to read it.
Hang on, let me pull it up there. If you want to read it, you can pause that.
Then over here you've got pictures, black and white pictures of Fritz and their 2 dogs and young Doris. And we get
Next page.
We'll go to the next page, and like I said, there are various articles in here. Then you've got several pictures of.
It just talks about how he started out as a loan collector.
Yeah.
Trying to collect money from people by intimidation, I guess.
And then these are just clipped in there. They're not in any order, but we'll go ahead and read it. You want to read that one, Lindsay?
This is fans pay tribute to Kerry Von Erich. Even the 83-year-old minister cried yesterday at the funeral of Kerry Von Erich. Atkinson was a pro wrestling hero. This is actually February 23rd, 1993, so not even like a week after the other one. The pro wrestler hero whose body lay inside the sky blue coffin blanketed with yellow roses inside the main sanctuary of First Baptist Church. Atkinson, 33, was a member of the downtown Dallas congregation, shot himself in the chest Thursday on the family ranch in Denton County. He was buried yesterday at Grove Hill Cemetery alongside 2 other brothers who committed suicide and a 3rd brother who died of an intestinal ailment. In addition to his parents, 2 grandparents, his ex-wife, 2 children, 1 brother, and a score of nieces and nephews, Kerry Atkinson's funeral was attended by more than 500 mourners, most of them pro wrestling fans who dabbed their eyes throughout with an hour of hymns and eulogies. Some, such as Susie Nolan, 34, of Austin, drove in from out of town and went and were acquainted with the wrestling giant solely through his televised performances. Others, among them Mike Levine, 42, a Dallas house painter, were first-name acquaintances of Carey's and brought along snapshots of themselves with the fallen hero. Both Nolan and Levine shook their heads with the disintegration of the Von Erich dynasty. "We do not understand why things happen in our lives," said the Reverend, his voice cracking with emotion. "I've been a pastor for 65 years. In a world without end, have I been asked, what of these who would take their own lives? Sorrow and tears and hurt." And let's see if it keeps going. Nope. Give the rest of it.
Maybe so. We may not have all that article, but we've got, this may be the part of it or what. You can see here, I mean, these fans were truly mourning the death of their hero there. You can see they were truly upset. That may be the start of the article. I don't know, but maybe this is part of it. Anyway, you can just read that. I mean, it's just...
Let's see. They made the remarks from behind the portrait of Atkinson. On either side of the portrait were floral arrangements, and draped over a chair was a colorful sequined robe. Fans were asked to remain silent inside the seating area before the memorial service. Some tearfully lighted candles where they sat. Others walked to ringside and hugged and cried. In the concessions area, pictures of Atkinson sold quickly. One corner was roped off and draped in black. A single yellow rose set in front of a portrait of a handsome blonde athlete. The Sportatorium gave Atkinson a 10-bell salute, and the memorial ended with the crowd singing Amazing Grace. In Von Erich tradition, the other matches were held. King told the crowd that after Atkinson's brother David died in 1984, Carey and Kevin Atkinson wanted the fights to go on. Carey was the third Atkinson son to die, apparently of suicide, since 1987, and the fifth of 6 Atkinson sons to die in a string of tragedies that began in 1959. Atkinson's father, Jack Atkinson, said his son had been despondent recently and talked about taking his own life. He said his son had legal problems stemming from drug abuse that began after the motorcycle accident. Carey Atkinson was indicted this week on a charge of cocaine possession, a charge that could have sent him to prison because he was already on probation for a drug conviction. Atkinson also had problems coping with the loss of 4 brothers, and the elder Atkinson, who under the name Fritz Von Erich is credited with bringing wrestling to Dallas and Sportatorium. The only surviving son is Kevin Atkinson, 34, also a wrestler. The first son, Jack Atkinson Jr., was fatally shocked at age 7 in 1959. David Atkinson, who many consider to be the best wrestler, died at 25 of an inflamed intestine during 1984 of Japan. Mike Atkinson overdosed on tranquilizers and what appeared to be a suicide in 1987. He was 23. Another son, 21-year-old Chris, shot himself in the head in 1991. Carey Atkinson's funeral will be at 11 a.m. Monday at First Baptist Church in Dallas. Burial is at Grove Hill Memorial. So, anyways.
Like I said, a very, very sad story.
Maybe that was the beginning of it.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll move right along with the book there. You can see this you show them, they see that, so that they want to read it.
Yeah.
And then you've got a young, this is when he's a young Fritz Von Erich wrestling 8x10. I mean, he was definitely a monster of a man there. Then you've got another picture of a young Fritz Von Erich there. And then we'll show them that. Did you see that?
You can see it.
Okay. All right.
I think it's better if you hold it up like this.
As long as I can turn the pages.
You turn the pages. Alright. Doris and baby Kevin.
Home from the hospital. And you got Doris' sister Nancy plus Steve. I guess it's gonna go over their whole
family.
The whole family. Who's that? Fritz Von Erich and Gene Kaniski. And I know Gene Kaniski's son, Kelly Kaniski, he wrestled a lot in Dallas when he was... And then we've got some young pictures. I assume maybe this was when they were living in Niagara Falls, in New York. I mean, I assume because I always heard that they lived in a trailer park, and that's where Jackie shocked himself at. But There's pictures there. I'm not sure which boy this is, but there's family pictures there. Another wrestling picture of Fritz Von Erich. Can you balance that camera?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you got one of the boys as a baby here, over here. This goes through, talks about, I've read it before, it's been a long time, but I have read it. I mean, their story is well documented, but like I said, you can read it if you want to.
Cool.
And different photos of Fritz in the ring performing the Iron Claw. It looks like on a lot of different wrestlers. He should have been an NWA champion. That would have been. He was an AWA champion, but I mean, how you want to classify that as a world champion? I mean, I guess it was a world champion, especially in Vern Gagne's eyes. You got it. I'm gonna turn the page.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another menacing look on his face there.
Yeah, this is still talking about him living up there by Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Then you've got.
There's their trailer.
Their trailer. And
Look at that car.
Yeah, that car in that trailer is probably worth a lot. Man, that was a hell of a car. Pull that big old trailer. And then you've got young Doris and her 2 boys and babies and puppy dogs and whatnot. Now we're getting to the good stuff, or what I call the good stuff. You know you've got a Kevin Von Erich there. He was actually born in Illinois. I didn't know that. And his parents were living east in St. Louis. Can they see that picture?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, you can read that. Which I knew Carrie was born in New York, but I didn't know Kevin was. Then you got young Kevin there.
50s day.
50s
Now they do 90s day.
Yeah, now they do 90s day, yeah. And you got different shots of Kevin reading the Bible. And Kevin with the first Texas Heavyweight Championship. That was probably his first reign as Texas Heavyweight Champion. And here you go, you got different stuff there, and the family is growing here. You got another boy in the picture here. I'm not sure.
This is when they moved back to Texas.
Yeah.
This talks about. It cost them $1,000.
That's it. Then you got young David there. Nowadays they would sell you braces on in those teeth, but see, he turned out all right. His teeth are all right. There you go. I mean, he had bucky teeth, but they turned out all right. He looked good. And you got David there, boys there. Young David Von Erich. Things would have greatly been different if he had lived. I mean, we might have, wrestling based here in Texas at this point. And then you got young David Von Erich there. I assume the Texas State Heavyweight Champion there. That was sort of the Texas Heavyweight. That was the localized. Every territory had its own world champion, and that was it there.
I was talking about David's birth.
Yeah. I don't know who that is in the ring with Fritz Von Erich there. Another shot of Fritz Von Erich. We'll turn the page here.
Here we go.
You got a birth certificate of Jack Atkinson there. Let's see, and I'm not sure. Oh, that's Fritz, and in the trailer. We'll turn the page here, and we'll see what we got on the next page there. And we'll go back to Kevin now. That's a good shot of Kevin.
That talks about when their son died.
Oh, that talks about when their son passed away there. And there you got another shot of Kevin. Kevin at age 13 and Kevin at graduation. Boy, he looked young there. Really, his style hasn't really changed. You know, he still wears his hair like that. I guess I still wear my hair like I did when,
What you have left.
Yeah, I don't have any hair left anymore, but then you got Fritz and Waldo Von Erich. Waldo was not really a Von Erich, they just went by the name. Then you got young Gary Hart there. I mean, he was a great wrestling mind. For a long time, he was the booker in Dallas, and just the on-screen nemesis of the Von Erichs. And then you got a nice shot of the mom, dad, and the boys up there. Then you got probably the cost, tell them what they cost to move around and whatnot. Like I said, you can read it if you'd like. Then you've got
about the house that they bought. They paid $17,000 for their.
Where at in Dallas?
Yeah, Webb's, close to Webb's Chapel and Josie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, downtown, but close to Dallas, in Dallas.
Imagine what $17,000 get you a cardboard box nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you've got probably the most famous of them all, Erich Von Erich. I mean, he was NWA World Champion, WWF Intercontinental Champion, numerous other titles. But
Oh, here they bought 168 acres.
you got to speak it loud.
They bought 168 acres for $500 per acre of Lake Dallas, the land's about.
I think now that is a development. I mean, it's like a
Housing development.
yeah subdivision almost. You know.
Yeah.
Then you've got hell of a investment. You know, return ROI. I guess you might say. Who's that? Like Kevin and Carrie up there. And you got Carrie's graduation photos. And you got Carrie, Kevin, and David down here. And you got Carrie throwing the discus here. He was a high school
State champ.
State champion. Would have went to the Olympics. He would have been a backup, but he probably would have went to the Olympics there. And he was skiing there and in an airplane. Then you've got a picture of the boys here. And then a young candid wrestling shot here of David, Carrie, and Kevin. I mean, there.
This talks about them building their house.
Yeah.
They're there.
Then you got Carrie, David, and Kevin there. Different talks about their family, where they love being out in the country. You know, they
Catching frogs. And
yeah, whatnot. More of the same stuff. You got Christmas 1968. I mean, that's a long time ago there. Then you got the boys and what's that say? The boys with Friday and Goalie.
Probably their dog.
Oh, and Ham. Yeah. Let's see if I can turn this page here. You got Kevin and Carrie. Looks like that maybe at the Sportatorium there. And then this talks more about their home life, mother's house and whatnot. These pages are stuck together. This book's old. Then you got nice shot of them hunting. Everybody, if you're from Texas and you're a boy, you've been hunting in your life and whatnot. And
had a picture.
Yeah, and had a picture. You know, I know I've got pictures where I posed with guns when I was a young boy and whatnot. Got different.
He's wearing his Mickey Mouse shirt out hunting ducks.
Duck hunting there. Looks like a big family photo. I mean, you've got hell, I can't think of his name, but he was referee and booker. He was a close family friend there, and whatnot. There you got. Who we got? Here you got David, Kevin, Carrie, Chris, and Mike there. They were so they were pretty much grown when them boys got big. Then you got Fritz there. Looks like maybe at a hotel swimming or something.
Stagecoach.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Then you got Fritz and Doris here over here, sitting by the fireplace. And then you got, look at that, that's world-class championship wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance Lucha Libre, ringside, $6. Boy, I would love to pay you $6 for a ringside ticket, you know. And you got young Carrie over here, and you could always go, and get their autographs there. They would come up, let you come up there, and him kissing a monkey there. And it looks like maybe somebody's wedding or whatnot there. $6 for a ringside ticket. Maybe that's why they sold so many tickets. They were reasonable. And another family shot there.
Well, yes, different time too.
Oh yeah, different time, yeah.
Here, hold on so you can read it there.
Now you can't get popcorn for $6.
Maybe it's small.
Nice color photo of the Von Erichs and their dad. David would have been big. He would have probably went and main evented a WrestleMania, and he probably would have, he would have been a big superstar. And Carrie was too. They just all had their own demons, you know, whatnot. I couldn't imagine these boys grew up in the spotlight. I mean, they didn't, you know, everybody wants to be famous until you hear about all the stuff that famous people go through. Talking about their family life and living in Dallas and whatnot. Then you've got some shots there. I don't know how they got this different boys acting silly, swimming, scuba diving. Kevin talked about how he still likes to scuba dive. He does it without air.
Without a tank, like a tank that he throws underwater.
Yeah,
and he knows where they are.
Yeah, I mean, he's
That's
tough.
a little dangerous for me.
Yeah.
I get claustrophobic in the closet. No, I'm just kidding.
And you got young boys. I mean, they were pure athletes all the way through. You can't nobody say nothing about them there. Looks like school photos here.
Yeah, this is just talking about them getting in trouble at school.
Yeah. And you got another Fritz with a baby there, and Fritz and Kevin, and Fritz and David. I've read stories where they butted heads a lot, but you know, who hasn't butted heads with their father? Then you've got a young Kevin Von Erich there. That's the same thing on that. See that shirt up there? That's the same pose on that shirt.
Let's see.
If you can see the shirt, we got the shirt when we went to see them at the Majestic
It's up
Theater.
there by the fan.
Yeah. Anyway, just the camera. Kevin doing like a frog splash maneuver on a Buddy Roberts. And him posing on a table there.
Like Mr. November or something.
And you got the boys there in the ring, and I assume maybe that's David there with Santa Claus. I'm not sure. And you got them over here, different shots, whatnot. Yeah, I always remember watching videos of Kevin. He had strong legs. I mean, he put the scissor locks on you, and
he's squeezing a bag of feed and busting it open.
Yeah, I mean, just some.
All right.
David Manning is that guy's name. I couldn't remember it a while ago, but there's David Manning, Kevin, and Fritz. I guess that's Fritz. I can't tell if it is or not.
I don't think it is.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. Lindsay says it's not. I can't get the picture turned there. Young Kevin and Fritz, young Kerry and Fritz, you know, and it shows them maybe out on vacation.
See, you say what you want, but he's the one that's buried by his dad.
Yeah, and yeah, I always read that was Fritz's favorite. You know, I mean, I always read, excuse me, I always read stories that was. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know these guys any more than you guys do. I just been watching them my entire life and watch YouTube short. I mean, you know, shoots, I guess you might say, and read books and whatnot. And I've always hated, and you know, you gotta take the good with the bad with the good, I guess you might say. I mean, but I just think about them, you know. But that's always been a story that Fritz was, or Kerry was Fritz's favorite son, and they mentioned that in that movie. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know these guys personally. I don't know, but you know, I try to think of the good memories and not necessarily all the bad stuff, because I mean, pro wrestling has a lot of bad stuff in it and all, but I mean, it doesn't change the way. I'm not sure who that is. I can't tell by the picture there with Kerry.
Yeah, his head's kind of.
Yeah, but you can definitely tell this is Michael Hayes that Kerry's working on his leg, and he wrestled barefoot. I guess he wrestled barefoot at some point in time, maybe in his early years there. Turning the page here. This is a long book. A lot to it. A lot to it, yeah. Mike with his puppies there. And Mike in the ring. That's probably the saddest story. You always hear about Mike. He didn't really want to be a wrestler. And I don't know why he couldn't like work behind the scenes or something. Why couldn't they just, you know, why did they pressure him to be a wrestler if he didn't really want to be one? But like I said, I don't know. I don't know him personally. Never met him. I've met Kevin a few times, but you know, don't know him on a personal level. There's nice shots of Mike there, Pee Wee football,
senior prom,
and whatnot. Growing up in Texas, had a pedal car. They were pretty well-to-do folks. I mean, Kevin and one of the boys. I'm not sure which one that is. Maybe Chris. Yeah, that looks like Chris. I guess Chris is. They do mention Chris in the picture in the book. He just wasn't on the picture of the book there. Another sad story. He wanted to be Kerry so bad. He just didn't have the height or the strength or whatnot, and he just, nowadays you could work in wrestling and not necessarily be a wrestler. And there's a picture. I've seen it before. Them all on their motorcycles and whatnot. They were young there. Bathing the dog. And 3 boys. I don't know if... And then you got them here down at some event backstage, whatnot. One of them playing football here. I don't know which one it is, but there's a football shot. Then there's a Kerry shot over here, and Kerry in the gym working out.
This is Kevin.
Oh, is that Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It says Kerry was a great football player, also, and a track star.
Okay. And you got, Kevin in the football. I assume those are both Kevin in his football gear, whatnot. I think he hurt his knees. Is that what he said? He said he hurt his knees. Why he didn't, I can't imagine wrestling and being easier on your knees than football, but I think that's what he said. He didn't pursue professional football because he hurt his knees.
Yeah, it says Kevin was the first All-State football player from his school, and David became the second All-State athlete from Lake Davis, and Kerry became the third. So they were all big football players.
And you've got here, I'm not sure who this is here. I don't know if it's maybe just a local guy there that, a lot of local matches went on. Nice, the boys there, David, Kevin, and Kerry there, and Kerry in the ring. And we've got another article. Read that article.
Okay. Wrestler stabbed to death. San Antonio professional wrestler Frank Donald Goodish called Bruiser Brody was stabbed in his dressing room minutes before a wrestling match and died later in the hospital. Goodish, 42, was stabbed twice in the stomach during an argument Saturday night just before the match with a wrestler known as Dangerous Danny Spivey. Police spokesman Tony Santiago said no details were immediately available on Spivey's real name or hometown, or who Goodish had been arguing with. The stabbing took place at the Juan Raymond Labril Stadium in the suburb of Bayamon, 9 miles from San Juan. The police agent Orlando Figueroa Goodish died early Sunday in surgery at medical center in the Rio Piedras sector of San Juan. Police said that several people were arrested after the stabbing, including the wrestler Jose Huertas Gonzalez, also known as Invader Huertas Gonzalez
number one. Invader number 1. Anyway, go ahead.
Huertas Gonzalez was a native of San Lorenzo, Puerto Rico. Figueroa said that Huertas Gonzalez was involved in the incident but did not elaborate. Late Sunday night, police were questioning other witnesses. Larry Matzik, I'm butchering that, of St. Louis, Missouri, identified himself as a longtime friend of the victims, said Goodish began wrestling in the early 70s after earning a degree in journalism from West Texas State University and playing football for the Washington Redskins. He met a few wrestlers who encouraged him to go into wrestling, and said on a telephone interview. He was a big idol in Japan, St. Louis, and Texas. Matzik said Goodish is survived by his wife, Barbara, and the couple's 8-year-old son, Jeffrey. Sunday's match was arranged by Capital Sports Promotions, operated by Huertas, wrestler Carlos Colom, Victor Quiones, and Victor Jovica, and San Juan Star reported.
Bad deal. I mean, is there someone in the back?
No, I think that's something else.
Okay. Like I said, this person that had this book before me, they were definitely a wrestling fan because they that's an article on Bruiser Brody. I mean, that is a horrible deal what happened to him. We all know who did that, and he got off scot-free. Yeah. But anyway, there's David Von Erich, and David Von Erich putting a claw on somebody there. I can't tell who that is there. And you got young Kerry and David there. This talks about them maybe doing, I don't know which one, but records or whatnot at SMU. Moving right along there. And you've got
This is talking about Kerry wanting to go to the Olympics. Was shattered after the Olympic camp when Jimmy Carter ordered the U.S. Olympic team to boycott the games.
Yeah, then you've got David and Kerry here with the sheriff's office, it looks like.
Yeah.
Different shots of snow. I bet that was, you know, it doesn't snow much here in Texas. It's 75 degrees out there right now, but
December.
So when we get snow, we get excited. Then we'll turn the page here, and there's Kerry and Gino Hernandez, and Kevin and David there. I'm not sure who they're laying that drop kick on there, but
looks like it might be in Japan.
I don't know. Can't tell. Yeah, probably so. Then you've got Fritz over here holding that Texas heavyweight champion. You can definitely tell that's Kevin Von Erich and Ric Flair. Two guys that you'll see on your TV in 2023. That's crazy. I mean, you still see Ric Flair on a regular basis. And Kevin's going to be on AEW Dynamite this week promoting that movie, I'm sure. And, you know, maybe his sons will end up in AEW. That would be good. I mean, yeah. I'd rather see him in AEW than, well, I say that. You may not ever see him, you know, but I think they would make a great tag team. I mean,
they would. Know. They're good.
Oh, they're good. You know, I'd like to see them on TV. I don't know if just scared of what WWE might do to them. You know, but Vince is gone now, so maybe time Triple H. We'll give Triple H benefit of the doubt. Then you've got there.
This is talking about David being scheduled to wrestle in the biggest match of his career.
And Mike Von Erich there. Like I said, he never should have been in the ring. He should have been in a backstage role or managerial role. I mean, there's so many things you can do in wrestling. You don't necessarily have to be a wrestler. I mean, then you got, you can tell that's Bronco Luvich there and Mike and somebody wrestling somebody. Maybe Jake. Yeah, it looks like Jake Roberts there.
Oh, and this is talking about how they dedicated an infectious disease center in Baylor for them.
Well, that's cool. So, wonder if it's still there today.
I don't know. Talking about Mike coming back to the ring.
Which he never should have been back in the ring after he had that toxic shock syndrome. Then you've got Kerry, Mike, and Kevin over here. And another in-ring shots. 2 in-ring shots there.
Talks about his accident right here.
Yeah. Like I said, there's different stuff. He's got, you know, there he is. Mike, Kerry, and Kevin there. 6-man tag champions. And the last, I believe this is the last photo of the last picture of the book. There you got 12/23/86. Kevin, Chris, Fritz, Mike, and Kerry. Oh, there's one more picture, but that's right day before Christmas Eve, 1986. Me or you were not here.
My sister was almost born then.
Yeah. Then you've got different ring shots of whatnot. I don't know, maybe these were the same shots, and I believe they were in the first part of the book.
Yeah.
All right, take the book. Well, there you have it, folks. Like I said, a Von Erich Family Album, and like I said, I've always good, bad. I mean, you can say, I mean, nobody's perfect, and I don't think about their, you know, we all got demons. You know, theirs was this highly publicized. When I go back and watch, it doesn't, how things worked out doesn't affect me, and it shouldn't affect you either, because it was great wrestling, and it's still fun to watch today. I mean, you can still watch it today, and they innovated a lot of stuff in Dallas, and I wish Kerry would have had a straighter head, and he would have did more to WWF. I mean, I would have loved to see him versus Hulk Hogan or whatnot, but you know, things work out like they are. We never know how our story's going to work out. But we hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.